Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Today is my sixth daily. Today is November the 29th, 2017. And I'm going to talk to you today about how you can survive this cold weather we're beginning to experience and motivate you through it, because there's a reward at the end of the rainbow. Listen to what I have to say. I think you're going to like it. First of all, welcome to my daily today. If you're new to my channel, consider giving me a thumbs up if you like this video. Those of you who are regulars and like what I'm doing, please subscribe to my channel. I think we're at 75 subscribers. Woohoo! We're at 75. I only know about 10 of you. The rest, I don't know who you are. This is fantastic. I now have viewers from 120 countries. Did you know that? 120 countries. At least one person once has watched one of my videos. Unbelievable. Welcome to Traveling with Bruce. Okay, today's topic is how to get through the cold weather, to motivate you and get through to the other side. I have something for you, and here it is. I have been looking on the net today, and I have found 3 examples that you can look at to escape the cold weather and get some warm weather into your bones, okay? And this is because I have found 3 cruises that you can consider taking, and I'm going to show them to you, and I'm going to have you consider why you would look at each one. And at the end of this video, there's probably one that might be the leader for you to consider, and why. I'll give you my reasoning why you want to consider this. Number 1, I wanted to compare 3 cruises for cost on a per day basis. I wanted to consider the cruises for departure time. I wanted them to sort of leave around the same time frame. I wanted them to make sure they left from the whatever port they left at, they came back to. Makes it easier for flights. I want to give you 3 different locations and different cruise lines and different options, but the dollars are kind of the same, so this gives you stuff to think about. Now you can really compare more apples to apples, okay? The first cruise I came up with was a cruise that departs New York City. I'm going to put my glasses on now so I can read my notes. It departs New York City on January the 13th, 2018. Today is November 29th, so we're talking December 29th until January the 13th. We're looking at 6 weeks from now. These are last minute cruises. They're close, but they're not too close. You've got time to plan this. If you can find a little bit of time, you can take advantage of this deal. And here it is. It's departing New York City, January the 13th for 10 nights. You're going with Norwegian Cruise Lines on the Norwegian Gem. Beautiful ship. All 3 ships I'm going to describe to you are about the same size. They hold about 2,500 passengers. They're 950 feet long, roughly, about 120 feet wide, with stabilizers. They're within 10-15 years of age, state-of-the-art everything, fantastic ship to be on. You're leaving for 10 days. The cost for 10 days is $540 for the cheapest room available, which is an inside room. Balcony, of course, is more, that type of thing. But I want it to be, again, compare apples to apples. Just the lowest rate, $540 or $54 a night per person before your taxes and fees, which might be about $8 to $10 a day more in total per person, excuse me, and then tipping. Everyone charges tipping. You can't get around it. I'm going to guesstimate about $13 a night, so it's $130 a person. So roughly, if you want to take this cruise and add the taxes and fees, be about $100 more. Tips will be about $130 more. So $230 plus $540, $770 for 10 nights. $77 a night. You can't get a hotel room in New York City for $77 a night. You can probably get a decent steak for $77 a night, but that includes tip and taxes, and even then you might be a little low. So $77 a night, not a bad deal. The trick of it is, though, you're leaving New York City on January the 13th, and you're heading down to the Caribbean, all right? The first 2 days out, you're in cold weather. The day of departure, of course, the first full day at sea, you can't be outside in your bathing suit lying around the pool. It's too cold. It'll be the 3rd day and beyond that you'll actually be in warm weather. And then coming back, the last day at sea coming back, you're coming up through the Carolinas, past Pennsylvania, New Jersey, it's cold. You're not going to be on the pool the last day. Really what we're talking about here is a 7-day cruise in warm weather and 3 days in cold weather, just so you know. And the other risk you take leaving New York City is a winter storm. If you're going south and a winter storm is coming north, you might have to deal with that. So I want to just caution you. So the price is right, but the price might not be the price you want to pay, just so you know. Deal number 2 is January the 7th departure, so about 6 days sooner. It's a 7-day cruise. It leaves San Juan, Puerto Rico, and comes back to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and you're going with Royal Caribbean, great cruise line, on Jewel of the Seas, great ship. 7 nights, $358, or per night, $51. $3 cheaper than the New York deal. It sounds great because 7 days from San Juan back to San Juan, hanging around the Caribbean, you got warm weather all 7 days. So that's equal to the New York trip. 7 warm days there, but on a 10-day cruise. Here, 7 nights, it's all warm. The trick, though, is getting into Puerto Rico and getting out of Puerto Rico. Finding a flight that is affordable and reliable to get you in and out. Now, if you're flying from, say, I don't know, let's say you live in Miami, okay, but if you live in Texas, or you live in Denver, or you live in New York, you live in Seattle, to get in and out of San Juan, Puerto Rico is probably a multi-connection flight. It won't be direct service from Seattle to San Juan, and you're gambling whether you can get in and out of there. So that $358 price, that sounds great, but boy, the risk that you're taking getting in and out of there on time to catch the ship and then get out on the day you want to get out may negate the whole deal. And I have been warning cruisers about this. It is a big deal about getting in and out of there reliably. And I'm sorry to say, San Juan today, November 29th, is still dealing with the hurricanes. Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Maria. It's still a mess. Electricity is still spotty. There's just all kinds of problems there. So even for January, 6 weeks from now, 5.5, 6 weeks from now, you may not want to take that chance. Okay, third cruise to talk about. Departs January the 13th. It's a 10-nighter, 10 nights, January the 13th departure from Fort Lauderdale back to Fort Lauderdale. And you're on a cruise line called Costa Cruises. Carnival owns Costa Cruises, by the way. The ship is called the Deliciosa. I love the name of that, Deliciosa. And again, a 2,500 passenger ship, less than 15 years old, state-of-the-art everything. You're talking 10 nights out of Fort Lauderdale for $520. That's $52 a night. The New York cruise was $54. The San Juan cruise was $51 a night. And the Fort Lauderdale cruise is $52 a night. See how close they are in price? But here's the deal. You got 10 nights out of Fort Lauderdale, warm weather guaranteed all 10 nights. Number 2, you're guaranteed to get in and out of Fort Lauderdale reliably by air is really good. The only trick you have to worry about is if you're flying out of Chicago to get to Fort Lauderdale, the only glitch you have is getting out of Chicago, not arriving in Fort Lauderdale, okay? Getting out of Fort Lauderdale the day of the cruise or the day after your cruise, no problem. Fort Lauderdale, you'll be on time. But getting back to Chicago or Buffalo or Pittsburgh, depending on where you're from. If you're from a winter area, you're always taking a chance, but nothing new there. We all know that. But we do know airplanes still take off and land in winter weather in Detroit, Chicago, Minneapolis, Indianapolis, it doesn't matter. But this deal here has a lot going for it because you've got 10 days in the Caribbean departing from Fort Lauderdale, coming back to Fort Lauderdale. You have 10 days of warm weather. With the New York cruise, you've got about 7. On the San Juan cruise with Royal Caribbean, you got 7 days of warm weather. You have the reliability of the airport. You have you have a wonderful cruise line. You have no problems there. With taxes and fees, these all come in at the same cost, roughly on a per day basis. There's really no difference in price. So now you got to ask yourself, well, am I gonna take the New York deal or the San Juan deal or the Fort Lauderdale deal? And I don't want to mislead you. These are just 3 examples of dozens of examples that are out there. You can look at 7-day cruises from each of these places, 10-day cruises, 12-day cruises. You can look at departure ports like New Orleans, Galveston, Tampa, Miami, Port Canaveral. I'm not even sure, but I think Baltimore still has a few cruises as well. There are a number of cruises to a myriad of places. And of course, there's also the last-minute cruises out of Los Angeles down to the Mexican Riviera and back. I'm only giving you these 3 cruises today because I'm trying to compare apples to apples when it comes to a per-day cost, roughly the same departure point. These depart between January the 7th and January the 13th. We're talking 6 days difference. And same area of cruising, the Caribbean at large. So there you have it, 3 cruises to think about. If you're living in New York City or in New Jersey and you can take a quick bus ride over to the port and get on the ship there, you might have a deal that's unbeatable. You know, you're from, even from Buffalo, you're driving down to New York, park your car down in the port area there. It might run you $100 to park for the week, or 110, 120 bucks for 10 days. So what? You don't have to fly in and out. Doesn't matter. Then that's a great deal for you. But you're down to a 7-day cruise in warm weather, not the 10-day cruise. However, I have seen Norwegian offer 12-day cruises out of New York where you actually end up getting 9 warm days instead of 7. So you can look at it that way as well. Pay a little more to park, but get a couple extra days at sea. So there's that. So if you live in the New York area, going out of New York might work, and it's a very popular cruise. It has worked out very well for a number of cruise lines. The San Juan situation, it will become much more reliable as we go forward in time, but it may not be this winter season that we can rely on it. It might have to be next fall, next winter, next year in 2019. We need to give San Juan more time to recover, and I hate to talk business out of San Juan. They need all the business they can get. I really feel for them. But you know, a number of these cruises that depart from Fort Lauderdale, from New York, they visit San Juan during the day. So you get a day trip into San Juan anyway. You go to Old Town San Juan, frequent the t-shirt shop that's run by an individual entrepreneur. Stay away from the chain stores. Help the individual business person in San Juan. Buy a nice latte at an independent coffee shop, that kind of thing. Help local businesses, absolutely. But you're only there for maybe an 8 or a 10-hour stay, and then you're on your way, and you don't have to worry about the infrastructure, the greater infrastructure of San Juan getting in your way to get in and out. The third option, as I said, coming in and out of Fort Lauderdale or coming in and out of Miami or Tampa, you've got the comfort, you know, deep down inside, the reassurance that Southwest Airlines, American, United, JetBlue, they have reliable service in and out of these locations. And you know, you could do a scenario where you could fly into Tampa Bay in the morning, grab a ship in the afternoon, or Fort Lauderdale for that matter, or Miami, and then on the way home, same thing, you depart the same day that you get to the port. You could play that game. I don't recommend it for those of us coming from the northern part of North America. I recommend it if you're coming into Fort Lauderdale for a cruise that leaves on a Tuesday, arrive on the Monday, and you've got that extra 24 hours just in case. Same thing coming home. Oh, and by the way, coming back from Fort Lauderdale or Miami or Tampa Bay, you're flying back to Chicago or New York or to Seattle or Denver or wherever. If you've got the extra day, keep this in mind. When you're at the gate and they're asking for volunteers who want to be bumped for compensation, and you've got the time, you might want to take the compensation deal. Maybe you'll take $400 cash and take the flight 3 hours later or the next day, because they'll put you up in the hotel. There's a way to get $400 or $500 back, you know, $400 compensation per person. That's $800 a couple. That goes a ways to paying for your cruise. I'm just saying, if you've got the time, you might want to take them up on their offer to get bumped from that flight back to New York City. But if you got to go to work, you got to go to work. I get it. Totally understandable. I'm talking to people my age. being 62, if you've got time, time is money, baby. And if you're older and you've got the time to offer, yeah, you take a bump, 400, 500, 600, whatever the deal is. If you try to get a cash deal or flight coupon vouchers, hey, go for it. You can always do that. That's another topic for another day. Today was about last minute cruising. Here are 3 examples for you. Think about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Like my channel, please subscribe. And I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. This is the end of the 6th daily. Tomorrow will be daily number 7. Have a good one, everybody. It's Bruce saying goodbye from Traveling with Bruce.